The Local Seen PopUp Street Team and I stopped by Plymouth Patuxet Movie Theater on January 17th prior to the screening of I Am MLK Jr., a Plymouth No Place for Hate committee event honoring the life and legacy of civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Hi, we're here at Plymouth Cinema at Plymouth Patuxet Museums for a showing of I Am MLK Jr., an event hosted by Plymouth No Place for Hate as part of their Celebrate Dr. MLK Jr. weekend. We're going to talk to some great people today about Martin Luther King's legacy and what they're expecting from this evening. Let's see what these folks have to say. I'm with Peter, the co-chair for No Place for Hate. Thank you so much for having us here tonight. We're excited to be here.
Thank you very much, Tiff. It's wonderful having you here.
Can you tell us about the events that are taking place this weekend?
Yes, thanks, Tiff. We have 3 days of events that are planned. This evening is a showing of the documentary called I Am MLK Jr., and it traces the early life and the work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. some 60 years ago in the civil rights movement in the U.S. We're hoping that people who only know MLK through black and white newsreels and don't really know him as a character and what he actually accomplished will learn a lot this evening. And what's important is it takes not only his work in the 60s, but it translates into it the importance of his work and the follow-through and ongoing work today. Tomorrow we have a major food drive as our day of service, and we'll be having contributions of non-perishable foods at a number of locations, the market in Pine Hills, at the Clements Market in Manomet, and at the Church of the Pilgrimage in downtown Plymouth. And the contributions from those donations will be going to a number of food pantries and homeless shelters across the greater Plymouth area. And then on Sunday, we start off with an interdenominational church service at the Church of the Pilgrimage, which is being sponsored both by Church of Pilgrimage and the Bethel AME Church of Plymouth. We'll then have a light luncheon and continue with an afternoon program where we will have choirs from the middle school of Plymouth singing the Black National Anthem, a number of other songs that are critically important in the civil rights movement. We will have winners of essay contest, 7th grade essay contest that was managed by the public schools of Plymouth. And we'll be awarding them prizes, and they'll be reading their essays. And finally, a keynote speech by Reverend Rashawn Hall, who is the CEO of the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts. He's a very impressive speaker, and he's a very accomplished activist in our state.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for having us here tonight. It was such a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, Tiff. And again, thank you very much for helping us out and getting the word out.
Of course. Jon, the co-chair for No Place for Hate. Thank you for having us here tonight. Such a pleasure. Can I ask you, why is it important to have events like this in the community?
Well, the specific event, MLK has been gone over 50 years, and it's important that the things he worked for, the principles he lived his life and died for, be kept alive. I know a lot of the schools are still teaching it, but it's got to be taught forever, not just about nonviolence, but looking out for those who don't have a voice. My favorite MLK quote, if you want to hear it, is, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?"
Beautiful.
Simple as that.
Exactly. How is it important to keep Martin Luther King's legacy alive? Why is it?
Not going on too much of a political vent, I'll just say, every year, I think it seems to be more and more important that we think about how we can counter things peacefully. Everything's becoming more violent, and this is perhaps a voice opposing that, that's saying, through really listening to each other and maybe really considering another's point of view, that's a path towards accomplishing something.
I am with Christina, who is the vice chair of Plymouth No Place for Hate. Thank you for having us here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us why Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy is important?
It's important because it's still the same message, right? It's something that hasn't changed year over year, decade over decade. It's still, we need to have nonviolence. We're trying to find common ground. We're trying to do what's right for humanity. It's still the same message, right? And if we look back, there's so many things we still haven't achieved in regards to equity, in regards to being further along for all people. And so just being able to take moments of reflection, look back, be able to pivot based on what's happening in the world at the time, it's important. And he was such a powerful leader, leading with nonviolence, that it's important to be able to reflect on that and self-think, how am I really living those values and bringing that message forward in my life and for that of my family or others around me.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm with Sarah, who's the student representative for No Place for Hate. Thank you for having us here tonight. Can you talk about your role within the organization?
Yeah, I am Sarah Engel. I am the student liaison for Plymouth North High School. And so I basically communicate between the school and No Place for Hate and the different clubs that are in it, including the Equity and Justice Club, because we kind of work together with the No Place for Hate.
Very nice. Why is it important to keep Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy alive?
It's important because he was a very influential civil rights leader, and he made a lot of good advances for the African American community, and that's a good thing. And I feel like people should learn how to peacefully protest like him and be a good leader and not be afraid to stand up for what's right.
And as I think about King, you all can help me with this. That's supposed to be normally one of the most discriminated, or when it's these people of color or trophies coming together.
I'm with Reverend Clark. Reverend, so nice to see you this evening.
Same here, Tiffany.
Can I ask you, why is it important to keep Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy alive?
Well, the heritage, basically. It's history of sacrifice first for the younger people as well. So the younger people, our understanding is that they don't know what their parents had to endure, or their grandparents, it seems, because what they see and what they experience is just, we got nice stuff. But they don't understand what it had to take to get that, or even get the right to vote. And even some of the young people, they wonder why we have to talk about slavery. I don't want to talk about slavery. Things are good. But things aren't really as good as they perceive to be, because we're still fighting to get the free and fair elections, right? So, but it's very important to me that where much is given, much is expected. So I've been given much. I've been a lot of freedoms. And I want some other people to experience those same freedoms that I have. And that's why it's really important. But his legacy is not, it has not only touched America, but it's touched the world, right? And through nonviolence. And I think that's really what hits my heart, is the nonviolence part. It's like you can get angry, but he may have some self-control in the midst of someone spitting and hitting you. And he was able to get a lot of work done, a lot of good things, and with people not just looking like me. So that's why it's really important to say, yeah, this can be done, but knowing, also understanding, you have to have great discipline, and you have to have purpose, and I find purpose in this.
Well, wonderfully said. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to meet you this evening.
Thank you so much.
What a special night. We want to thank Plymouth No Place for Hate and Plymouth Patuxet Museums for having us this evening. Make sure to check out our socials for where we're popping up next. From all of us at the Local Scene, we thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. friend, thanks for stopping by. If you like this video by The Local Scene, share the love and give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe.